My name is Mike. I'm 36. I caught my wife, Sarah, who is 44, in the middle of phone intimacy with another man. Sarah and I have been together for 13 years and married for 5 of those. 4 years ago, we packed up and moved to a small city in the upper Midwest so she could be closer to her family. I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest. This town is where she's from. Our problems with intimacy didn't start after marriage. They existed long before that. She never seemed interested, and our intimate needs were never aligned. Most of the time, she didn't want intimate closeness at all. When it did happen, I could tell she wasn't enjoying it. That feeling stuck with me and made me feel wrong for wanting her. Sometimes she would tell me to hurry up and finish, even though only a few minutes had passed. Other times, I would fake it just to make it stop. Eventually, I stopped trying altogether. I think I just accepted that intimacy was no longer part of my life. We tried couples counseling and went 6 times. Almost every session felt pointless, like I was speaking into empty space. She barely participated until the very last session, when she finally opened up a little. Not long after that, we stopped going because we couldn't afford it. Sarah handles emotions the Midwest way, by locking them down and avoiding difficult conversations. I was raised the opposite way. My family is loud, blunt, and direct. Our arguments usually follow the same pattern. She says cold, hurtful things without raising her voice, and eventually I snap, start yelling, and have to leave the room. She's a stay-at-home mom and recently started her own cleaning business. I work a standard 8 to 5 office job. Since moving here, I haven't made friends or found any kind of support system. I've been seriously depressed for about 1.5 years. Last year, nothing changed in our intimate life. If anything, it got worse after we had our 3-year-old son, Jake. One day, we were driving to a cabin for a weekend trip with her parents and sisters. Sarah ran into a gas station and left her phone in the car. I had never gone through her phone before, but it was sitting right next to me. Then it buzzed. I glanced over without thinking. A name popped up that meant nothing to me. When she got back in the car and we pulled away, I asked her who Brian was and why he was texting her. Without hesitation, she told me he was a man she met on Tinder. It felt like my chest collapsed. She explained that she had been drinking with her sisters one night and downloaded Tinder just to feel attractive again. That turned into a massive argument. She kept insisting it wasn't a big deal. I turned the car around and drove us home. We were yelling at each other while our toddler sat there listening. When we arrived, I got out and told her and her family to go to the cabin without me. I couldn't handle being around them. I felt broken and betrayed. About a month later, we were all sitting together watching a movie. I glanced over and saw her texting. I saw Brian's name again. I told her to stop and said flat out that, to me, this was cheating. She argued with me but promised she would end it. 10 months after that, we were drinking one night after Jake had gone to sleep. She got angry with me over something small and went upstairs. I waited about 30 minutes to let things cool down. Then I went upstairs to apologize and say goodnight. Before I even opened the door, I heard sounds that didn't make sense. When I walked in, I saw her lying on her back under the covers, moaning, holding her phone. I froze and blurted out, "What the fuck?" I heard a man's voice on the phone asking what was going on. I slammed the door and went downstairs. Not long after, she came down and said we needed to talk. We both agreed we were too drunk and decided to wait until morning. When alcohol is involved, our arguments spiral out of control. The next day, we put Jake in another room with a movie and sat down together. She told me she wanted to separate. At first, I agreed that it made sense. Then she kept talking. She told me she wanted intimate relationships with many anonymous men. She said it was her kink and that doing it in public excited her. Hearing that after years of almost no intimacy left me stunned. She also told me that during college she had intimate experiences with close to 100 men, mostly one-night encounters. That information hit me like a truck, and it still does. Early in our relationship, we talked about past experiences. I told her I had been with around 8 women. She said her number was a lot. When I tried to ask more back then, she shut down and brushed it off. I assumed a lot meant maybe 20, not 100. Based on how closed off she was with me, I believed she simply wasn't very intimacy-oriented. When everything came out, I felt completely destroyed. I felt like the woman I married was a stranger. The next day, I left town and went back to the Pacific Northwest to stay with my family and friends. I needed distance and time to clear my head. It's been 3 weeks, and we've barely spoken. I sent her a long letter explaining that I was still trying to process everything. A few days later, she replied and blamed me for all of it, my behavior and my depression. She never apologized. She never took responsibility for her role in our conflicts or for the cheating. She isn't the person I thought she was. After almost 14 years together, I feel like I never truly knew her. The betrayal has crushed me. I know she's probably dealing with her own issues, but once the smaller betrayal started, she shut me out. That led, in my view, to full-blown cheating with multiple men. She lied to me and now refuses to give me any answers. I want to walk away, but we have a son, and I need to be there for him. She says she won't leave her family, which means I'm stuck in this town. I can't imagine leaving Jake behind and moving back to the Pacific Northwest alone. Splitting custody across states isn't something I want for my child. I'm ready to get divorced, but I'm still hurting from how long the lies went on. Walking in on her in our bed deeply traumatized me. I'm not asking for advice. I already know what I'm going to do. I just needed to vent and say, what the hell?